Hello, friends. Here goes Mitzi. I'm gonna do, today, I'm gonna start with one of these shells. Hopefully we'll have time to do, maybe I'll do a starfish next after this, but larger. So I found these from this book, A Sea to Stitch, Elizabetta Sforza. By the way, my name is Cher Johnson. Welcome to my happy place. Um, I have my happy little kitty over there, and I wanted to show you this pattern also. I just made this pattern. It's just, I took not a circle. I took this and I put a pin in here at that point, and then I measured 2 inches from there along these and made this line, and then I measured a quarter of an inch from all those. And there's white fabric under there just so that you can see that more easily. Now I'm going to go in the center. This is going to be covered later, but that's just to hold my knot in place while we do these lines here. So you need to have an odd number of these lines. And I'm going to go straight down and back up in here and all the way down here and back up and back down in here again. I think I have 11 lines, and I'm using a hoop because I want this to stay taut. Now I'm going to go up in that one there, and I'm going just below, like, I don't know, a quarter of an inch or so below that. And then I'm going to come down here, and then I'm going to go down here. Then for these last ones, going up there, and down here a little bit further. Up here, on here. By the way, I forgot to mention this. I have some tulle, and this is Super Solvay. This is water soluble stabilizer. The water soluble stabilizer will wash away when we're all done. And then I want to make sure there we go. Now I want to make sure that these are all nice and taut. Okay, so I just made sure those were all tightened up. Now what I'm going to do is a whipped, I think she called it a whipped woven web. You're going to go under each of these stitching lines twice. So I'm using just the first 3 that we did in the beginning. And now I'm going to go back down to the back. After that one, then I'm going to go back up here, here. And I'm going under this first one. You know, I'm going to switch to a tapestry needle. A tapestry needle. This is not a tapestry needle. Sorry. This is a tapestry needle. It has a blunt tip so that I don't go through the middle of those threads or through the back. So I'm going to go under this one and the middle one. And this thread, sorry. You must be kind to your threads and pet them sometimes. There we go. There we go. Yeah. All right, then I'm going to go under this one again and under this one. And I want to hold them close to the top there so that they stay where they belong. Then I'm going to go back to the back again. And then up to the front here, inside that front one, and under that one, and the center one again. Now this is why they were under this one again and this one. This is why they were at different lengths. In her book, she did some padding, which I didn't do with this one. You can, to make it, I don't know, poofy. We're going to do another shell. Maybe not today, but we are going to do another shell that has padding. And to do padding, you just do satin stitch back and forth and then up and down. Now, I'm going to go to the back again. And I'm going to go up here again. And now I'm going to use 5 of these threads instead of just 3. Oh, I did have something I wanted to talk about, because you know, sometimes we like to chat. You know, sometimes people like my jibber jabber chat. Those, I want those a little bit tighter. Sometimes I have tweezers here with me to tighten stuff up, but I don't today. I'm cleaning and I put the tweezers back in the bathroom where they belong, right? All right, anyway. So there is, it's funny that Corinne, To Be Loved Treasures by Corinne, is another YouTuber who I watch sometimes. She had a retreat, and I had two different people ask me if I had seen Sarah Roxbury's videos where she videoed. She and Rachel went to the retreat, and she videoed some of people's creations at the retreat. It's just lovely. Just lovely. Oh no, I didn't. I'm good. I'm not great at this. I'm just telling you right now. I'm just warning you. I have not done many of these. This might be my second or third one that I've done of these. And one day I might practice a bit and get better at it, but at least I'm showing you how to do it. You'll know how to do it. Anyway, I had planned this. I had planned this video, and actually, I started this video before I watched Rachel's video. But they did, in Corinne's retreat, they did a sea themed something or other. I don't know. Anyway, just thought it was interesting that they did that, and I was like, great minds think alike, right? They did that, and I was planning this sea themed thing. I'll just show you the bag that I made. I have a bag that I made for my mother. I did these. I'm going to end this off and get more thread, and I'm just gonna go through these in the back. A different color. This, by the way, this is DMC floss 646, and I have 648 and 3866. I'm going to use this. That was 646. This is 648. And I have a knot in the end. And I'm going to kind of go through this at the back a little bit. And I have a tapestry needle. Now, I'm going to start the same place. Anyway, I ended up going, after I watched that just the cutest little crocheted things, crocheted sea creatures. Several people had these adorable turtles. And so then, of course, I ended up on Pinterest looking at, see, now I'm going over under every single one of these. So I ended up on Pinterest looking at, of course, pictures of crocheted sea creatures. I'm not doing a very good job of this, am I? But you know what? We can always, I can always cover it with something, or make a different one or something, because I need the practice. But you get the idea, and I will finish this. Yeah, I'll finish this up, and I think at this point I'm just doing more of the same over and over and over and over, and I may change colors. So again, I'm going under 2, pull that up there, and then under 2, and pull that up there. And I'm sure there must be a better way of getting them to stay up there. I've not done this stitch a lot, but basically you're going underneath each one twice. You see? So I'm going under those 2. Then I'm going under this one a second time, and that next one time. And then this is not looking very pretty, is it? However, you get the idea. I may switch colors at some point, in which case I will come back and tell you what colors I have used. I can't film this whole thing because, as you know, I don't do more than an hour. So I shall be back. Okay, before I go any further and explain to you why you shouldn't do it this way, I'm considering this kind of a big fail. This is a bag. This is, these are foundation paper pieced dolphins that I made. And then this corner is, as you can see, hexagons. And then the other side of this bag are some blocks that my mother did she used to do classes, like quilting classes. These are several blocks that she did in classes. And, that was all she had. She didn't have other pieces to add to make a quilt. So I told her I would like to have them and make them into something for her. So I hand stitched all those beads on there. This is big enough to fit one of those shoebox size containers, those clear containers, Actually, it'll fit 2 inside this bag. I gave this to my mother when she was still alive, and this was her bag that she carried to quilt shows. And she had, I have one little pin on there. She had put a bunch of pins all along the top from all the quilt shows that she went to. I took them off to wash it, and now I don't know where I put them. I mean, I know I have them someplace, but I don't really know where. So on there, there's some beads there. There's more beads there, and there's a thread from a bead that came apart. There's more beads there. There's more beads down here, but some that came off. You know, like there's loose threads there. There's a few beads there. So I decided I wanted to take this and I want to add a few more things. I want to fix the loose threads, and I may, these are beads for the dolphin eyes. I might want to take that off and make embroidered eyes. But I don't know. But the first thing that I wanted to do was these seashells because I like them. And somebody asked me if I would do a video on this. So I'm not really happy about this little seashell. I think it's going to be fine once it's done, but I think the next one I'm going to put on a piece of fabric instead of this. Like I think I have a piece of fabric like this to put it on. Okay. To continue, I added some golds, 676 and 3829, and then that is 3866. Now I'm going to go back to my 686, and we're going to do something along the top here. And I might just do this off camera because this is just going to be some straight stitches and, you know, like just short and long stitch. And I'm going to try to cover some of that, I think. The back looks horrendous, but it doesn't matter. It's going to be all stitched down. And so I'll put the top in, and then I'll come back and I'll show you how we're going to take that off and whatnot. So I did just some satin stitch along the top there. And now that I have it off the hoop, and I'm not staring at it right in front of my face, it's not looking as bad as I thought. And I didn't really explain about, I mean, I showed you the bag, and I think you can kind of imagine that it would be really difficult to sew. Like the bag, it's just going to be cumbersome to sew the bag. So it'll be easier to sew this onto the bag. I left my thread there attached so that I can, I'll have that to sew this on. Now, part of this is water soluble. I'm going to soak this in water, and then when I stitch down the edges, you'll be able to see that it's kind of poofy. Next, we're going to do a starfish. So this time I have, what do I have here? I thought I threaded a needle, but I didn't. I have DMC Floss 738. And I think in her book she uses something different. But I don't have any. And it might be nice with a different thread. I think she called it moulin or something. I don't really know what that is, and I don't have any, and I wasn't ready to go down that rabbit hole. Okay, so for this starfish, I know that it's a little wobbly, and I might do one of these legs little, like I might make that go a little cockeyed. In her, if you look at her book, in her video, in her book, they are not perfectly perfect. Like one leg kind of goes off to the side. So if they're not perfectly perfect, it's totally okay. So I'm going to start with a running stitch around the edge. And I think I'm going to do each leg separately. I think I'm going to do the first one on camera, and I'll just show you the whole way what I'm doing. I'm starting with a run a stitch. Yeah, run a stitch, a runaway stitch, a running stitch around the outside edge. I think I'm just going to go to there and then go back this way. My Mitzi tonight. I don't know if you've ever heard that when a cat slow blinks at you, it means that's their way of saying I love you. I heard that once and I thought, oh, that's cute. Isn't that sweet? She's in my room. She's a little she's a little freaked out because of all the moving things around and stuff. But anyways, I went to my bedroom door, and she's sitting across the room on a by the window. I just looked in to check on her, and she looked up at me, and she slow blinked. It was like an obvious, really obvious slow blink. I don't think I would have paid attention if I hadn't heard that. So she slow blinked at me. So I slow blinked back to her, and she did it again. So I did it again. It was it was like a sweet, like we had a moment. Very sweet. She's been um animals are very sensitive to, I think, especially cats. I think especially because she's an indoor cat. Um I think that they're very sensitive to things that are going on in their environment. I think she's particularly sensitive right now because I I took apart my bed. I sold my bed frame. I couldn't sleep in there anymore anyway. There's some weird noise outside, and I wasn't able to sleep, so I've been sleeping on the couch. And yeah, but she was sleeping in there, and I took away her bed. So there's a dresser in there, and I put that by the window. She likes to sit by the window. Put the dresser by the window. I have this other thing that I put, like a little chair. I put a blanket over the chair and put a little bed for her underneath the blanket, so that she has a little, a little tent, a little place where she can hide. where she can get away from me if she wants. Also, because it was the 4th of July, there was a lot of um, fireworks, which really freak her out. And they're not stopping. I think it's now the 10th or 11th of July, and they're still not constant like they were on the 4th of July, but um, they're still happening. I'll tell you, I don't think all Californians are really that liberal, because the governor says no fireworks, and then the city goes crazy. Like, there's fireworks everywhere. There used to be, firework displays in certain areas, and they were controlled, and people would get together. There were just swarms and crowds of people. And I know I used to go, not to, like, there were some at, um, not the Rose Bowl, but something like the Rose Bowl, like this big area where you would go and there was seating and you could go and they have music and all this stuff. And when it's over, it's hard to get out of there and get home. And we would go park several blocks away and just get out of the car and watch from a distance. And I know a ton of people did that. And when you go out on the 4th of July, you could see fireworks everywhere from a distance. It was really nice. It was very special. And uh, they don't do that anymore. So people let off fireworks everywhere all night. They're all over the city. Okay, now, so I've used that entire thread. I'm going to go back. I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to go over it just to make sure that it's nice and poofy. And then I'll come back. So I thought I'd check the book and make sure that I was remembering correctly. And I was, but I had also made a note to myself to do straight stitches back and forth this way first, so that it would be more padded. And then we're going to go around and around and around. If you, so that it'll be really padded and poofy. You know what I mean? It'll really stand out a lot. So this is going to take a while because I have to go around and around. Once and then back again, around and around. And then I'm going to do that on each one of these legs. Go back and forth. I did a running stitch back and forth, sort of overlapping, sort of haphazardly, I guess. Also, I ended up taking it out of the hoop because I just can't deal with the hoop. So, and it's supposed to be poofy like this. It's supposed to be puffy up like that. So, I'm gonna go watch a Netflix movie. There's a movie called Voicemails for Isabel or something like that. Looked like a good movie. I'm gonna go watch that and finish this up and then come back. I don't know if I showed this pattern to you yet. I'll leave it there so you can take a screenshot if you like. I didn't really follow the pattern. I went inside. I didn't make it quite that big. And this is close to being done. And this is the first one that the first leg that I did where I didn't, do the stitches up and down the middle first. And I thought about taking it out, but I'm getting a little tired of it right now. I still have to do stitching in the center there, and that center part needs to get fixed. Then the next thing that you do is I think it's this color 822. We're going to do some French knots on the top of that. But I think I'm going to wash this first so that I don't like the black in there, but I think I need to wash that out. And I may need to, might want to put that on my bag before I do the French knots. But I wanted to continue and do, I'm just tired of that one right now. I know I'm so fickle. So what I want to show you, and I'm only going to show you a little bit of this because this is going to take a while. This one has to stand up a lot. This is the third thing that we're going to do. So I did one. I'll hold that there for a second so you can take a picture. Inside this, I'm going to go, let me see, I'm going to go back and forth this way. And then around inside this, I'm going to go back and forth this way. And then the final one, I'll go back and forth this way. I am not going to do all of that on camera. This one here at the top, I'm going to do a lot of this on camera because it won't take long because it's tiny. And I think I'm going to do, I think I'm going to take my Sashiko threads because those are cheap and fill in with my Sashiko threads. The top layer is gonna be, what did I decide? Oh, 642. I think I'll be sure to come back and let you know. So basically, I'm doing this a lot of the same that I did my Starfish. And I know I didn't do a lot of that on camera. I'm going to go just do a satin stitch. This is actually a padded satin stitch. And I did I'm going all the way underneath those other stitches. And I'm trying to make sure that it's sticking up. You know what I mean? I started looking at, to stop doing the rabbit holes. I think it'll be fine once I finish packing and get moved, and if I'm settled, and anyway, I went on Pinterest, and there are, if you search for embroidered seascapes, There are so many cool three-dimensional things that you can do. And then I remembered that I was working on a pocket treasure. Started a pocket treasure for my daughter with pictures of the kids at the in the ocean at the beach. So cute. So I think instead of doing a lot of stuff like that on my bag, I think I'm just gonna finish that. I'm also trying to decide what I should. A lot of my stuff is going to go in storage, and I have to decide what's going to come with me and what I'm going to, like, what am I going to work on for the next few months. I don't know how long I'll be where I'm going, you know? Okay, I think you get the idea. I'm going to sit on the couch, and it's very hot here lately. So I have to sit on the couch and turn on the AC and, you know, watch Netflix. I watched that movie yesterday. It was very much like, there was a different movie that I saw. Same basic concept. But anyways, okay. So I'm going to do those other two blobs and then I'll come back. I'm still sitting here by the window, so I thought I'd just turn the camera on. I have here 642, and I'm afraid that I put this other, the 712 on the top, and I wasn't supposed to. It was supposed to be the darker color. So wait, I want to go. Which way do I want to go? The other thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to come on here and just say, to make sure I'm in a hoop, which reminds me that I can't, I don't want to pull my stitches too tight. I don't want the fabric to get pulled. So I want to make sure that I leave my stitches pretty loose. I can hold it there and look to see where it goes back in. And I'm going all around all those stitches in the back to make sure that it's puffing up a lot, because we want this really dimensional. Oh, it's about 10 o'clock in the morning here, and there's this gorgeous breeze coming in through the window, and I'm just loving being here and wishing that I could just sit here and stitch and record it, and maybe one day I'll get to the point where I can upload videos that are more than an hour. I think that'd be cool. I could just sit here and talk to the camera and jibber jabber, chat, just sit and stitch and chat. I think that'd be awesome. On the edges here, I want to try to now sort of, you notice I'm still inside my lines. I want the edges to be a little bit curved around. that end. I'll go back to the end for a little bit, for a stitch or two. I think also when I'm done, I'm thinking I'm gonna do another stitch on the end. I have prescription glasses that I'm using right now, and for some reason, when I'm using my prescription glasses, I find myself looking under the glasses, like they're what do you call it? They're bifocals, and I'm looking, through the bifocal part, but I find myself sometimes looking underneath them. I think I'm just not used to using these. I have other glasses. I'm cleaning and I'm finding all the glasses that I have. Bought a bunch bought several pair at the dollar store for, a dollar. And then I keep losing them, So I bought some online. I bought many, many pairs online. And I bought 6 pair online. And now I'm finding them all. And for some reason, I don't know what it is. Those are, I don't know, more comfortable for me for some reason. I don't know. I have astigmatism, so you would think it would be better for me to use my prescription glasses, right? But for some reason, it's just not. Okay. I like this. I'm liking this a lot. And like I said before, I can't upload more than about an hour, so I'm going to finish this. Probably sit here by the window and finish. And then come back for the next step. For those of you who enjoy the rabbit holes, this is the name of this little sea creature that we're making. It's you can Google it and see, there are different colors, there are different, kinds of stuff you can find out. You can use your own colors. They're sometimes a lot lighter. Yeah. So I'm going to finish this with, took it out of the hoop so that I could do my bullion knots. So, and I'm really liking the way this is turning out. I'm going to do 18 wraps, I believe. All right, make sure they're not too tight. And I have a number 1 milliner's needle, and I'm using all 6 strands of embroidery floss. And I'm so happy with the way this is coming out. It's going to rearrange those a little tiny bit. Then I'm going to do the rest of them. I'll do one more. But I'll do the rest of them off camera, and I'm thinking I'm going to switch to fewer strands. Like this one I'll probably do with 4 strands and a number 3 needle, and then I'll switch to 3 or 4 strands. I mean 2 or 3 strands for that one. And so on. And the top one might just have some straight stitches. This is going to be cute. And I had the idea, because I have hexagons on my bag, I think I'm going to put these on hexagons. And maybe we'll, like this would work on a hexagon. And maybe this one, maybe I'll just do another one of those on a hexagon or something. I don't know. 18. And maybe I'll have to look and see how much time I have right now. Maybe I'll do another video and do more stuff. We'll see. See how much time I have left. Okay. Now, keeping in mind Phi and the Fibonacci sequence. If you went down that rabbit hole with me earlier, you know what Phi is, and that nature often follows those numbers. 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. So I have 5 here. 5. I'll probably put 3 here. Anyway, I'm going to do more of these off camera and come back. And I just thought I'd mention real quick, because somebody did ask me in a video once, how can I tell the difference? Because this is a number 1, and when I hold this other one next to it, it's a tad bit shorter, see? So this is a 3. So I'm going to switch, and I have all my milliner's needles laid out here. I have number 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. That's how you tell the difference, by the length. Well, would you look at what I found? This is something that I started. Yeah, I started this and I hadn't really forgotten about it. I just kind of lost it. This is a pocket treasure. That is my daughter and my granddaughter and her dad sitting on the beach. So this is going to have pockets for little photos of the kids at the beach. And let me see. There's another piece that goes here. That goes here. Anyway, we'll finish that off. And I'll do more sea things. This is sort of a starfish. I did it the same way we did I did the whipped wheel, like we did with this this shell that we did today. Anyways, I'm gonna put that away to show again. And then this is something that I did off camera, like a long time ago. It was going to be part of a book. And this is like on a book cover. and I haven't finished it. And I don't know if I will. That'll go on my list of UFOs and whips. I'm making a list, and then I have to decide if I'm going to finish them. Okay, this I finished, and I wrote down here, this first one, I used 6 strands and a number 1, and I did about 18 wraps. Then here I did a number 3 milliner's needle, 4 strands, and around 14 to 16 wraps. Then here I did a number 5 with 2 strands, 14 wraps. And then the next 2, this one I had 2 strands and I just did straight stitches, and I went over them twice. And then on the top I just did 2 strands with a little stitch, if you're interested. I'm just gonna, I have an hour already, so this always happens. I feel like I'm just getting started. But I wanted to show you this. I packed up all my hexagons, so I don't have one. So I took an embroidery hoop and I drew a circle. And then I folded this way and then I folded this way to get the center point. Then once you have the center point, you fold one side up to the center. Then you fold this corner to the center. And then again, the corner to the center and the corner to the center and the corner to the center. And there we go. We have our nice little hexagon without measuring or anything. Now, I think I'm just going to use this one to make this into a hexagon. Just like that. And I think I'm, I don't think I'm going to sew these on before I take pictures and post this video. I think because I want to just post the video. I want it to be up already. You know what I mean? So, oh, I have to show you one more thing. And I might pad these a little bit. So to show you one more thing on this, I have a milliner's needle and 3 strands of this 712. And we need to do some little French knots, or I like colonial knots. Colonial knot goes like this: backwards C, go through this way, then around this way. So you have a figure 8 on the needle, and then go back into your fabric and tighten it down. Not too much, just enough to make it pretty. And I'm going to put these all over this starfish. It got really, really thick on the back, right in the middle. I couldn't quite finish this very center point. Let's see if I can get, let's see. I'll show you one more. Backward C, and then around that way. All right. Now, I'm so glad we had this time together. So, I guess that's it for today. Except for I'll make more knots on there. Take a picture, post the video. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Bye.